In Galatians 4, Paul continues his passionate appeal to the Galatians, illustrating the transformative power of faith and their freedom in Christ. He moves from doctrinal teaching to deeply personal persuasion, drawing on both theological truths and heartfelt appeals to reclaim the Galatians from bondage to the law. Paul begins by comparing the condition of those under the law to that of a child under guardianship. Though an heir, the child is no different from a servant until the appointed time set by the Father. Similarly, humanity was in bondage under the elements of the world, waiting for the fullness of time when God sent his Son. Christ, born of a woman and born under the law, redeemed those under the law, granting believers adoption as sons and daughters. Paul declares the profound result of this adoption. God has sent the Spirit of his Son into believers' hearts, crying out, Abba, Father. This intimate relationship transforms believers from slaves to heirs of God through Christ. Paul then expresses anguish over the Galatians' regression into their former ways. He confronts them for turning back to weak and beggarly elements and observing days, months, seasons, and years. His tone shifts to one of personal pleading as he recalls his earlier relationship with the Galatians. He reminds them of their love and hospitality when they first received him despite his physical infirmity. Paul asks, "Have I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?" His longing for them is evident as he labors to see Christ formed in them once more. In a powerful allegory, Paul contrasts two covenants, using the story of Abraham's sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael, the son of Hagar, represents the covenant of Mount Sinai, bondage under the law. Isaac, the son of Sarah, represents the covenant of promise and freedom. Paul reminds the Galatians that they are children of the free woman and not of the bondwoman. He calls them to stand firm in the freedom Christ has provided and not return to the slavery of the law. Paul concludes with a triumphant declaration of the believer's identity in Christ. They are no longer bound by the law but are heirs of the promise through faith. This chapter proclaims that through Christ, believers are not only freed from bondage but are brought into the fullness of their inheritance as sons and daughters of God, united by his Spirit and sealed with his promise.